Hey, Nick, you like to kick ass like Chuck Norris?
I kick ass for the Lord.
That's cool.
Yeah, man.
So rich and creamy.
This is turning into a Christianity podcast.
Hey, guys, have I ever told you that joke about what do you call an altar?
Oh, my God,
Yeah.
Full.
2 times.
No,
This is the third time.
This is the third time.
Third time.
Hey, guys, it's your favorite final girl and boy, Emily and Nick, with your favorite final babysitter, Mike, coming at you with a new episode of Gag Me with a Knife, a weekly podcast where we dissect, disembowel, and shred the best and worst slasher movies. It's time for us to do another Friday Patreon request for K. 1992's Braindead, also known as... which it really is, Dead Alive. And thank you, Kay, for suggesting this. This movie is amazing.
It was fun.
Emily's got the box, and we're going to read it, and I love this movie.
Okay, before I begin, this is our 100th episode.
Woo! Here you go, Kay.
Also, I have done the prize drawing, and the winner is Christy.
So, you're doing that on Kay's episode?
Oh, you do have to pay shipping, Chrissy. We didn't
No,
mention
she
that.
doesn't. I'm paying for shipping. But don't worry, we'll do another prize
You
drawing
can
at
write
some
it off in
point.
your taxes.
Okay, so I'm going to read the box.
It's going to be
Do
heavy, man.
Throw out all of your preconceptions about the limits of horror.
Seriously.
A new standard has been set with Dead Alive, the mother of all horror films. Questionable. Okay.
Well, there's a mother.
On a quiet street in a small town, pure evil has come to stay. An innocent young man forced to care for his domineering mother finds the task a whole lot more demanding after she's bitten by the cursed...
It's the monkey rat.
It says rat?
It's the monkey rat.
It says
Sumatran.
Sumatran, yeah. But I didn't want to...
Sumatra's an Indonesian
Passing
island.
the point of death, Vera sucks friends and family into her gruesome existence among the living dead, and Lionel is sent spiraling into the ghoulish nightmare. By the way, Lionel's her son. They didn't say that before, so...
In real life?
No.
Oh.
In the movie. Now a crazed zombie, she soon infects enough people to make it difficult for Lionel, still the faithful son, to keep the neighbors from suspecting that something is terribly wrong. Dripping with state-of-the-art special effects that feature mutilations, rock and roll dismemberments, and household appliances, it all combines into the most bizarre ending ever filmed. That's not true either.
No.
I think Sleepaway Camp is more bizarre, but
it's just overkill.
You're just like little girl dicks.
Dude, no. Wait,
what the
what?
fuck? He said that because I said Sleepaway Camp was more bizarre, so he said I like little girl dicks.
I don't know what he's talking about.
This dude gets birthed out of his mom.
Hey man, get back on the rails, motherfucker.
That's also an extra, which came out before this.
Yeah, but this is slimier.
It's not. I don't know. Extras.
Slime
full
Glothola
human
creatures.
Adult birth is pretty slimy.
There's zombie fucking baby zombie on the playground.
Also Katie.
Yeah.
Katie.
Katie's in this movie.
You slimy New Zealand
Katie butt sex is in this movie. Yeah, whatever the fuck Mike's
That's
talking
what
about.
all that slime Glothola
Okay,
was.
Mike, get us started.
All right, we see. I love how it starts out. At least I watched this on YouTube. It's the whole thing, director's cut.
Oh yeah,
free on YouTube.
I watched that version too because the
But
one
it starts
that
out with the New Zealand flag flying, and the Queen Elizabeth on a fucking horse.
The director's cut is the only way to see this movie.
Yeah, that's why I didn't watch the one on Amazon because it was a rated R version.
I grew up watching this movie like in high school and shit like that, and then I went to a local video place.
Boutique.
And I bought a VHS of it, and I had never seen the theatrical cut, and I was like, whoa, there's like 20 minutes missing.
Well,
out of
that's
this
what
movie.
Dead Alive is. Braindead is
the end scene. I was like, whoa, that's not what I remember.
How does it
end in that one?
Well, we'll get there because we're going to get to the end of this one. So, Mike, I just wanted to say the director's cut's the only way to go.
And it's on YouTube. The one on Amazon, I didn't watch it because it said rated R, so I was like, I'm not going to take any chances and have to watch this twice because I'm not a big fan of it. So
it's insane.
Watched the one on YouTube.
So I guess because it's from New Zealand, it starts with the flag of New Zealand, and then the Queen, young Queen Elizabeth, is on a horse.
Why?
Rest in piss.
But why?
Bitch.
What does she have to do with New Zealand?
Fuck the Queen.
Who cares?
What does she have to do with New Zealand?
It was
a British
It was
territory.
like Canada. They still worship the Queen,
Okay, then that's
too.
why I thought it was in Europe.
Canada, Australia, New Zealand.
I thought New Zealand was in Europe.
all
Now it
Peter
makes
Jackson.
sense.
You thought New
It's like
Zealand
this.
was in Europe?
Yeah, I'm
So
really
here's
bad with
Australia.
geography.
New
I know
Zealand's
where, and I
to
know where
the
it is
right
now,
on the map.
Mike.
Oh, okay. You looked at the world map?
No, but like I just know that now.
So we see a zoologist and his guide running through a gorge with this basket, and they kind of fall, trip and drop it, and the guide's like, "You gotta let this thing go. It's bad juju." And then a tribe of natives show up, and the fucking guy, he's like, "Oh, I've got this permit," and he hands them a permit, and they rip up the permit, and he like pulls out a fucking submachine gun, just blasts on them. So the ones that didn't get shot survive, and
I didn't count
they
those
chase
deaths,
them.
by the way.
The natives chase these guys down this cliff where there's someone waiting in a Jeep, and they throw the box on the Jeep. The guide finally gets there too, but the zoologist gets bit, so they fucking kick him off the Jeep, and they cut off his hand that has getting
His
beat.
arm. They cut off his arm
Well, they
at the
cut off his
shoulder.
hand first, and then they see there's another bite on the shoulder, and they chop off his whole arm, and then they see a scratch on his head. They chop his head, and it
Shit's awesome.
splats, and that blood is what makes Braindead
Yeah.
come
The
up in
title
red
card.
font.
But it's also like
Beautifully done.
You guys have seen
It's
Bad,
a- yes,
Bad
it-
Taste by Peter Jackson, right?
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
the
It's-
alien
yeah, I love these early.
flipping
Like,
people off on the cover.
I
When I was a
know.
kid, I thought that was the
Yeah.
coolest cover.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
like it, but
but this is like my favorite Peter Jackson shit.
I don't like anything he's ever done. I don't think I'd like him as a person.
Are we gonna get into this? I'm not a big fan of the Lord of the Rings. Like I read
Ew,
all the books to
gross.
watch the first movie,
yeah.
and I
Sick.
did like the first one.
Also, it proved
But-
us that Sean Astin didn't grow.
He's still a baby. Did you guys ever see
He got wider.
Toy Soldiers with
Yeah,
Sean
yeah,
Astin?
of
That's
course.
awesome.
Did y'all
yeah.
see the Goonies? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, dude. Hey, you guys! So post credits,
That's not Sean Astin.
we see.
No, it wasn't.
While
but
the credits
it's
are running,
cool.
but after the title, we see the butcher showing up at Paquita's little grocery store. She's hot, and why
Dude, Paquita
are there
rules.
are there
I didn't find her that attractive.
are there Latin
Well, I mean, that's not
immigrants
for
to
you.
New Zealand? Is that like a
No,
normal
she wasn't.
thing?
What?
Is it normal for there to be like Latin immigrants
I
to
feel
New
like
Zealand?
yes, and I feel like they're looked
We're in
down.
Wellington.
I feel
we saw we did
I don't
see
know this for sure, but I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
he
I've
was
never
showing
been
that
to
they
New
do it.
Zealand.
That is a thing, but they're seen as lower class.
Oh, okay.
That's the idea I got from it. I could be wrong, and I don't. You care? So
Well, we did see the plane land and the box with the fucking monkey in it gets picked up by somebody who works at the Wellington Zoo. So I guess we're in Wellington.
It's the monkey rat, isn't it?
no, it's
Rat monkey.
Rat monkey.
Sumatran rat monkey.
Okay, all right.
But
Sorry,
it looks
that's
like
gonna
a
happen a few
monkey.
times. So when I see
we're the
when I see people
monkeys.
speaking in an accent a lot, for the next couple of days I tend to speak in the accent. Forgive me.
Baby Jean.
She's doing
Oh,
it.
what does it mean?
Oh, what can it mean?
Why are we singing Daydream Believer?
Because the monkeys.
Well, Emily was laying
They're
down
not
the
from
hit,
New
and then
Zealand.
we all ruined it.
What? What'd you just say?
I
Fuck,
said-
Mary killed Mike Nesmith.
Me?
Mike Nesmith, Davy Jones, Mickey Dolenz, and Peter Tork. You have to friend zone one
They
of
all
them.
look the same to me.
No, they do not look the same.
No. I'll play this one. I hate
Friend
this
zone
thing.
one of 'em.
Dude, friend zone one of them, Peter
Yeah,
Tork.
it's like
Oh, Peter Tork, I'm gonna marry.
we're-
I'm-
the worst
I
is still
would kill Mickey Dolenz. I would
I'd-
fuck Davy Jones, and I would marry Peter Nesmith.
Well, who's
Michael
friends with
Nesmith.
Mike Nesmith.
Okay,
because
I-
he's the fucking writer.
and he wrote like a different drum also by Stone
I don't
Poets.
know
Yeah.
them.
Okay, so I'm gonna marry Peter Tork because I figured out I liked him the most. Kill Davy Jones. Fuck Mike Nesmith. Oh God, I want to actually kind of want to kill Davy Jones and Mickey Dolenz.
Hey, there, you're breaking the rules.
It's my show. You're breaking the rules.
The rules that I already added friend zone to.
Yeah, the rules you already made.
Okay, okay, fine. I'll kill
Fuck,
Mickey
marry, kill, friend
Dolenz. But I
zone.
used to like Mickey the most.
Can I do a different band? Because I don't know enough about the
Well,
monkeys.
then don't do it at all. So
Yeah.
moving on.
Fuck myself, drink my cum. Was drink an option?
The drink is fuck.
I mean,
drink
you-
what?
I guess like you kind of eating your cum is kind of killing a
Yeah.
lot of people.
It's
You
killing
have-
in the name
you
of-
have
A
worlds
lot of
in your
potential
stomach,
babies.
like in
Yeah.
your belly.
Meow.
All right, back to it.
Kitty wants milk.
Come on now.
Okay, so this cashier, Paquita, super cute. She's flirting with the butcher, But
mediocre.
when he leaves, she goes back to her, I think her
Because she
grandmother,
thinks
and
at
her
first
grandmother.
that might be her true
She
love.
gets a tarot reading. Yeah, there's the queen of.
She's horny as
She
fuck.
throws a mean
Oh man,
tarot.
I need to find
Or
it.
maybe not
Maybe
horny.
she just wants a green card.
She wants
love.
She wants love.
I feel for it. I also
You
want
feel-
love, but not enough to like text back.
Santa Maria.
Not enough to text back.
I'm bad at texting.
Okay,
that has
Except you-
nothing to do with this
Apparently, you
movie
have to
from
send me
New
12
Zealand.
text messages and then I'll respond.
Are you talking to the audience?
I'm talking to
No,
Emily.
he's saying
Text a lot.
no.
Wait,
He's saying that he's bad at
just trying
texting,
to
but
be
he wants to
funny.
find love.
I
I
want
hear what he's saying,
stinking
but he's
love.
not narrating the movie.
So
yeah.
Paquita gets a tarot reading where she's the Queen of Cups, and then there's the Knight of Swords. But then the lady starts laying down all these nasty cards. She's like, "No, don't worry about the oppression. Don't worry about the death.
Yeah,
Don't worry about."
don't worry about the
cards.
oppression.
And the grandpa guy is really funny. He's like, romance,
Tell the
but more
speech.
Latin-y. Then the star lands, and she's like, "When you see the star, you'll know that's your love." And
Which
then,
is convenient that she sees it so soon after.
well, she sees this clumsy customer, Lionel, show up, and he's there to put in his mother's order, and he's like, she wants you to put the biscuits on top because so they don't get broken. And he ends up knocking over the pins, and that's when she sees the sign of the
Because
star.
at first she's kind of really annoyed with him, but then when she sees that, then she's like,
Yeah.
ooh, and
She's
she
like,
her like
oh.
her. So she
starts
basically
going towards him, and he's like
she
backing
basically
up.
hated this guy seemingly,
She
and then
almost
the
killed him.
star happened, and then she was like, well, I'm in love, I guess. I'm like,
She like
Doesn't seem like
backs
you
him
really
out
like
into the
him.
road, and like the streetcar shows up. He almost gets killed by it, but he ends up taking it home.
the
He
streetcar.
Buster Keaton's that shit real fast.
He he back
No, he
back
does.
home,
That's
and his mom is obviously
crazy.
his mom's really
No,
awful.
Warren Beatty.
No, but
Where's that Warren Beatty?
Ooh,
in the 90s,
Mary Warren
maybe.
Beatty.
Yeah, I went.
Let's do Dick Tracy, first Batman.
Wait,
Michael
what?
Keaton, Warren
Dick Tracy's
Beatty,
not a
and
real person.
No, but I'm talking about in character, not just the actor.
Warren Beatty or Michael Keaton?
Well, we need one more. Who's another like late 80s, early 90s version of comic book guy? I think maybe Dick Tracy and Batman
well,
were the
wait,
only
no,
ones.
Danny.
Howard the Duck. Okay, Mary
Kiefer
Fuck Kill.
Sutherland?
What
I
the
don't know.
fuck? That's not a real thing. No.
No more Mary Fuck Kills. Okay.
No,
I hate that
Howard
shit.
the Duck.
So he shows up.
Superman. It would be.
Christopher Reeves.
Christopher Reeves.
Christopher Reeves.
No, he'd be Superman.
I
Christopher
know
Reeves.
crippling's not an option.
I
Neither is the Friends Alone.
kind of like him like
Batman.
that.
Batman. But it's
man.
just a head.
I can do whatever I
all
want.
All he had was a
Is
head.
that a
The
form
only-
of bondage? If,
The
like,
only thing
somebody's-
he can do is
Yeah, though
wink.
there's nugget porn. So
And how can I say it besides cripple? He's paralyzed.
Well, yeah.
from
you're-
the neck
yeah,
down, all he was is
you're-
a head.
You're backtracking
How about-
all the hell.
Instead of Mary Fuck Kill, we start doing.
Let's just do the movie
Decapitate,
instead.
electrocute,
Let's
kill.
just do this. The
I
movie.
still have not gotten over that you guys would rather get burned alive than drowned.
I still haven't gotten over why you're not narrating this fucking story.
So he gets home and the mom is awful. I was trying, but y'all were Mary Fuck Killing.
No, that was
I
you.
got excited.
I
So
know you won't let
Let's
it go.
go.
He goes inside and the mom's like, got a butcher knife. She's like, there's a beetle under the refrigerator.
Did you hear him?
And,
He inside.
Wait, what's happening?
He inside.
Hey,
I'm
keep
just gonna
going.
keep going. I'm gonna keep going. So he's like trying to kill this fucking bug, and his mom's like opening letters with a butcher knife, which I thought was a nice touch. The little things Peter Jackson does. You know?
They work.
And she's about to become the treasurer of the WLWL, which I can't remember what it stands for. The Women's League of.
Who cares?
Well,
Adjusted old women. It doesn't matter.
So she's like,
Adjusted old
she
women.
thinks the house is too dirty, and she wants him to mow. So he's outside mowing, and
Well, that has nothing to do with the inside of the house, by the way.
I know, yeah, she's bitching about the dust, but
The
then
landscape
she's
is
like,
not
"Go mow,"
bad.
and
I
the
don't-
grass looked fine. But he's mowing, and this big dog jumps on him. Oh, and then Paquita shows up, and she's like, "Sorry about my dog," and he is for some reason explaining what the fucking zoo is, and
He's
they decide
explaining
they're
to her
gonna
what
go.
a zoo is.
Yeah, because he was like, if your dog was any bigger, it would need to be in a zoo, and she doesn't know what a
Oh,
zoo
right,
means.
right.
This is how he
Yeah.
accidentally gets a date.
Yeah, he gets a date to the zoo.
Well, she was going to go out with him
And the-
regardless.
Oh
'cause of
yeah,
the
yeah.
stars.
She showed
But
up at
the
his
mom
fucking
is
house.
peeping
Well,
out.
she's delivering the groceries.
The mom is watching them
But
from the
she-
window, and she
you know,
Her
steps on
brother
a flower.
usually does it, but she
But
does
she
it.
did it, yeah.
And we hear glass breaking. Lionel also hears it, and he goes running off. And there's a broken vase, and he's like, "I'll replace it, Mom." He's like, "You can't." She's like, "You can't because your father gave it to me." So we're at the the zoo the next day, and we see a lion, we see a camel with spit, and he's staring at the water, and he has this little like flashback of a dream hand, and he tells her about his dad drowning, and then she's like, oh, the monkeys, and they run over to the monkeys, and they have their first kiss, and one of the apple while they're kissing, one of the monkeys throws an apple core, and it hits Lionel on the head, and he throws it back, but when the monkey's getting the apple core, it's stolen by the rat monkey, and the rat monkey pulls this fucking monkey's arm off, and they're like, oh god, that's gross. And
They killed a monkey.
But unbeknownst to them,
I wish the crazy zookeeper had been in the movie more, because he comes over and he's like, oh, the reason there's a Sumatran rat monkey is because when the slavers got to Sumatra, all the rats from the ship went and raped the monkeys, creating the rat monkey on that island.
interesting plot device.
Yes.
Let's get to what happens.
Lionel and Paquita are sitting on a bench kissing,
the mom gets bit.
and the mom is spying on them, and she gets bit by the rat monkey. But she hits it in the head with a purse, and then starts stomping it with her heel.
This effect is great.
But it's kind of funny because she's screaming like a super elongated scream.
She pops
and Lionel's
the
like,
eyeball out.
Mom? He can tell it's his fucking mom just from the scream, because he's heard it his whole goddamn life.
Yeah, camera zooms up.
So yeah, when she is stomping her heel into the rat monkey's head and its eyes are like popping out, that's real fucking gross and awesome. So she wants her son Lionel to take her home, and he leaves
she ruins his date.
Yeah, he just kind of leaves Paquita there.
I don't think
That's kind of shitty.
I'm not surprised.
So then we're with the nurse that we're gonna get intimately knowing, but the nurse is there, and the mom is like, she calls Paquita experienced and greasy, oily. Maybe it was the term.
Greasy.
So at night, the bite is not that bad at this point. He's tucking her in and gives her a kiss.
Ugh.
And we see Paquita at the window, and she climbs up after he's left his mom.
Man, like, where
And he
do
tells
these
her
girls
this thing
come
is
from?
not possible. I think New Zealand.
Some girls.
I think I don't think she did.
She's not from New Zealand
No.
either.
Dude, if I had ever even gotten that far with a chick like that, I would, like they would
You'd
be
be
like,
married.
oh, fuck off.
Was this what you and your first girlfriend? Hey, I stopped myself
Shut
from
up.
using a name.
Shut the fuck up.
Okay. Yes, sir. You sound serious. I'm so sorry, dude.
Seriously.
I love you.
I mean it.
I give you birthday
I love
presents.
you too,
Let
man.
me.
I do.
If you just move on, then that'll be fine.
Okay, so she climbs up, and he's like, no, we can't do this. But she's like, okay. But she gives him a rose right before she's going to walk away. And he's like, oh, man, this bitch really fucking likes me. So they make out. And we can tell that mom is getting sick. It cuts the mom, and her arm's like pulsating. And she's like, But they're like making out in bed, and the fortune teller, it cuts to the fortune teller. The fortune teller is like repeatedly getting these awful readings. And we see pus spurting out of mom's arm onto the picture of dad before it's morning now. So yeah, the arm's really fucking bad, and the mom won't let him call the nurse. He's like, you take care of me. But he's like trying to fuck with the bandages and shit when the lady from the LWLW and her husband show up. And
what this scene
she won't give it
culminates
up.
in.
She won't give it up. She's like, get me ready. And he like, her
Oh my
face
God.
starts peeling off. He like glues her face back together.
Her face skin
Oh
back
my
on.
He's
God,
like, sit
dude, it's
still
so
or it'll
good.
be crooked.
It's so fucking good.
But it's
How do
this
I
movie-
look? I'm like,
So-
what the fuck?
They're at the table. Yeah, she gets down there. They're at the table eating. The husband is completely clueless and just a pig, like myself. While the wife, the president of the LWLW, is getting more and more disgusted by the mom's shit. Like, because she's shit.
You
She
better
looks like
eat your
fucking
pudding.
shit. And it's over. It's over.
But Lionel
then
is the guy
husband-
who's like serving all the courses.
Yeah,
and
Lionel's doing everything,
Yeah.
and the mom couldn't say anything except annual meeting. So he thinks they got through it, but then the husband guy is like, "What? No pudding?" So Lionel goes and gets some custard, and his mom's fucking arm squirts in the custard. The guy eats it, and
yeah,
he's like,
legendary.
"Damn fine pudding, rich and
fine
creamy." It's so
Disgusting.
good. When I was in high school, we used to say that shit all the time.
Like, I'm not very, very squeamish, but yuck.
But at this point, Vera, the mom's ear falls off into her custard, and she starts eating it, and the fucking president lady looks like she's like gonna puke.
Well, she can see it and everything. Like,
but then the mom spits out the earring. There's like little details that Peter Jackson throws in there.
And this
that
actress
are so
acts it so well.
No, she's a really good zombie.
It's really good, even to the end.
Yeah.
And these zombies aren't like your average zombies. If you've never seen this,
no, there's something else. It's kind of like the Return of the Living Dead zombies. It's just like out of control.
Yeah, they're like horny Evil Dead-ish. Like nothing really kills them.
You have to fully dismember like every bit of these things.
That doesn't really even work.
Yeah, like they can reproduce.
Then we see after they leave, Mom is fucking eating all the raw meat out of the fridge when Paquita shows up to give the message that her grandma has divined from the cards to say there's a black cloud of danger around you. Death surrounds you. And then for some reason Vera has eaten Paquita's dog, and Paquita
for some reason it's because
she'll eat any flesh.
She's turning into a zombie.
But Lionel pulls this fucking dog spine out of his mom's mouth, long and slow, like, and Paquita's like, "Your mom ate my dog," and he's like, "Well, not all of it." It's pretty great.
The effects in this movie,
I didn't like that. I thought it was
disgusting. They don't like dog death.
No.
Well, the effects in this movie and shit like that, and it gets even worse. It reminds me of that movie Society.
Yeah.
Which was
we should do Society.
This, like,
somebody pay us to do Society.
That's Screaming Mad George.
The shunting.
Yeah, Screaming Mad George, the most Californian Japanese man.
He doesn't. Anyway,
no. He's from Japan, but he lived in California. And he talks
very not Californian.
It's better than a lot, I've heard. So at this point,
I just watched
Mama Vera attacks.
In an interview
he's in that. He's in that new.
He's in the darkness in Search of Darkness 3. Yeah.
I can't wait to get unwrapped.
It's like 5.5 hours long.
Come on, let's fly this turkey.
Yeah.
Everybody wants me to hurry, but I'm so slow.
Eeyore, go on.
I'm not Eeyore, I'm a turtle.
Mike, seriously.
I'm a snail.
Hey, man. I'll come over there.
Sorry, babysitter.
Dude, I will burrow through Emily to get
now,
to you.
Bitch. So
it's a lot of flesh.
Bitch.
Hey, Mike, do this, but then don't let me do this. So Mama Vera attacks Paquita, and Lionel stops it, but they like roll down the stairs, and he's like, "Paquita, go get a nurse!" And she runs to the nurse, and the nurse comes, and it seems like Mama Vera dies. She dies, and the nurse is like being super nice and like, I hope I have a nurse like this if I'm ever in a pinch, because she's like, "I'll make all the arrangements for you." It's like, okay. But then
if you die, do you really care what happens afterwards?
No, if someone dies, like I'm not going to talk about
she's being nice to him because his mom just died. I think is what he's saying.
And she's rich, and she knows she's going to get much money. But anyway, the mama rises from behind, pulls the fucking nurse. She's like clawing her face and pulls her head all the way backwards, so her neck is like open. Like a flip-top head, like those old toothbrush commercials, you know?
She looks better afterwards.
And so then the nurse comes...
She looked good enough for the priest.
Yeah, she did.
That's a different kind of thing.
But then the nurse is also a fucking zombie, and he somehow gets them both in the basement. And the whole time, Paquita hasn't heard any of this because she's upstairs packing a bag, and people in New Zealand really like to listen to the radio at a loud volume. So... she's like, even during the scuffle, she's like asking Lionel, like, what color nightgown? He's like, green, while he's like throwing his mom in a basement. So dun dun dun. Wait, sorry, I lost my place. You know this happens sometimes.
You were talking about him throwing her in the basement.
They're in the basement. Paquita comes down, and she's like, "Where's your mom?" And Lionel lies and says that the nurse took her to the hospital and gets her to leave. Then we see the full moon, and then it's morning. They just showed the fucking full moon because it's a horror movie, and that's what horror movies do, is have full moons and cats. No cats in this movie. Wait, there was a lion. That counts, right?
Yeah, feline.
So this is where Lionel goes to the Nazi Veterans Clinic, and He's like, for a second, he's like watching the Nazi, like, it looked like it was already dead.
What does the Nazi say? He's like, I don't have.
He wants sedatives, and the Nazi's like, I don't have sedatives,
but I have tranquilizers.
I have tranquilizers, but not for the general public. But when he first walks in, he's like, "Are you from immigration? I told you I don't have my papers."
Yeah. When he walks in,
he's definitely like a war crime guy.
Yeah, he's got like a monocle or some shit.
But he gets this huge. What do you call that? A bottle? It's like a medical bottle. Yeah. He gets this huge bottle of liquid tranquilizer.
It's not a beaker, but it's a.
Do you think it was Quaaludes?
No.
I wish. No, Quaaludes were already gone by 92. They got rid of those in the 80s.
We're gonna have to find some kind of hippies drug time capsule.
No, they'll probably have to come from Mexico. They'll probably have.
It'll just be fentanyl, Everything's fentanyl, guys. Watch out.
I guarantee you, whenever you get your Quaalude experience that you want, they're going to be expired and they're going to give you an experience you never wanted.
Okay, Dad.
Hey, man, I'm not square.
I heard it from first experience with someone recently that was alive back in the day and took them, and he said it was the best thing ever.
That's why they took them away from us. All right, so Lionel, back from the vet, he's got his tranquilizers. He like gets into some homemade armor and he goes down the stairs, and some Christmas decorations follow him. And this rat, which I like to think that the zombies were chasing and trying to eat, runs by, and he gets the tranquilizer up his mom's nose. For some reason, whenever he gives his mom an injection, which happens at least like 7 times in this movie, it's always like right in the septum, which makes me go ee. But something makes him something makes him have the flashback of the dream blonde. Some blonde lady got drowned when his dad got drowned or whatever.
Yeah, it's because his mom did it.
Hey, spoiler!
Oh my God, you're the one that gave Axel away at the very beginning of My Bloody Valentine. So
guys.
So Lionel goes to Paquita's shop and he's like, "Yeah, could you tell me more about these dark forces? Because shit's fucked up right now,
guys."
Mm-hmm. But so he's left his mom and the nurse there, but his mom busts out of the basement, and this is where he receives the amulet, which is really important. And that grandma's super nice. She's worried about her granddaughter. Yeah. We see mom walking downtown.
Maybe she just cares about humanity.
And mom gets hit by the trolley that almost hit Lionel earlier.
Yeah, that guy doesn't know how to drive at all.
She flies into Paquita's shop.
I'm hungry.
Why don't you order a burger, bitch?
I might.
But she gets knocked into the store by a trolley, and Lionel, I almost called him Nigel. Lionel gets
He looks like a Nigel.
Yeah, he looks like a Nige. Gets the tranks in the nose. Then we're at the funeral. Everybody knows she's dead, so there's a funeral. And I'm going to go ahead and bring it up. So she's buried in a goddamn coffin underground. She does get out, but White's going to dig her out because she's probably not going to get out if that greaser doesn't piss on her. Okay, we'll get there. So...
Oh, wait, greaser. They're punks.
I call them greasers. I wish I wrote punks because that's way less letters.
I mean, it's kind of the same
punks.
thing. Yeah, but
they're not greasers because that'd be like fifth.
They're all wearing...
No,
dressed like the outsiders.
But they're not. It's not 1955, Mike.
That's like, dude, Sid Vicious looked like a greaser.
Yeah, but he was a punk. I mean, it's not 1950s.
The Dead Boys look like greasers.
At the funeral,
they wear stripes.
What decade is it?
It doesn't matter. Well, it's 92.
Exactly. So they're punks. They're not greasers.
Okay.
Get with it,
man. God, Mike, you fucking idiot.
Like in Italy, popular culture is like 10 years behind. Maybe in New Zealand, it's like 40 years behind.
Even if it was... really?
Yeah, they never
they're 40 years behind. They're just getting Gene Vincent.
They just saw Grease, and that's all they know.
They're just getting Eddie Cochran over there. They just heard Summertime Blues, and it's rocking their fucking world. It just got down to New Zealand.
That's a kind of punk.
Is that what you think?
It's like a proto-punk. Greasers are...
That's where it all came from,
Okay, yeah,
Mike.
where no one...
All right,
so we're at the
next
funeral.
up on No Dogs in Space.
We're at the funeral, and Lionel's nowhere to be found, and the creepy Uncle Les is already...
Lester is his name.
Well, it's Les this, Les that.
Well, his name is
on Paquita.
Lester. I think to be like molester.
To the point... Oh, yeah. So, yeah, he's skeezing on P to the point that she moves, and Lionel breaks into the embalming room to put some more tranks in his mom's nose, but she gets so full of fucking embalming fluid that she explodes, and the the doctor guy who's bitching out his assistant just kind of pops her eyes back in and is like, she's got to be ready. She's coming up. So the priest starts giving the eulogy. I think that's what it is.
It's what it is. I don't know why you put it in air quotes.
Because I wasn't sure if I knew what a eulogy was.
The eulogy is given by a family and friend. I don't know if that's technically what the priest is. He's giving a sermon, I guess, at the thing.
So even though the mom was completely still during her
Sermoning
embalming,
it up.
Lionel opens her coffin and she immediately grabs his throat. Why didn't she kill those other two guys that were just mucking about with her? But,
because she kills everybody.
Well, she didn't kill those dudes when she was getting embalmed. That's what I'm
Needless
saying.
That's because the tranquilizers are still working.
Okay, good call.
Yeah, needless argument.
He has to do it. That's why he does it like every
How
so
come
often.
when I stop, it's move on. But as soon as I start moving on, you guys start talking.
But no, it is.
No, no, no,
That's a big deal, though. He has to keep.
That's a big deal, though.
That's a big deal, though. No. Like the whole, like half of the
Dildo.
movie is him making sure he's tranquilizing these people at a certain amount of time so they stay.
He's pretty good at it.
Asleep. So
Lionel's to disagree with Vera. I think Lionel's a good boy.
He'd be a great Waffle House cook.
So what I'm saying though is that he knew that he didn't need to then because I think he had the time on it pretty good by then because that's why he goes back.
But he was going to do it right when they started exploding her. But
I don't know.
So,
all right, Mike, let's go.
Okay, I'm going. God damn it! So he opens the coffin. She grabs him by the throat.
Now start again.
And they start struggling and end up busting.
Start from the beginning and do it really fast.
Busting
did
through
you
the
lose your
stained
place?
glass window into the chapel. And for some reason, everybody's like running towards them. The Uncle Lester's just fucking laughing. He's like,
What does he smoke out of? He's like got a bubble
it's
pipe.
not smoking.
You
It's
know,
like it's like he's got asthma or something.
It's like a proto vape.
Sucks to your asthma.
Oh, is it like Afrin?
No, he puts it in his mouth.
Yeah.
It's like
is it like Dexedrine or something like that?
Proto vaping or some shit.
It's like some kind of Dexedrine that they used to like do the inhaler.
It's a bubble pipe just short of the bubbles.
Bubble bop. Bubble bop.
It looks dumb.
All right, like a kazoo. Mike, go.
All right. So Paquita and Lionel are in the cemetery. And
I saw the tape. It's good.
He tells her that he needs to be alone. And
Turtle power.
after the funeral at night, Lionel comes back to dig her up. And
Assholes in a half
Well,
shell.
he's going to dig her up
gang-
so he can re-tranquilize
A
her.
punk gang that happens to be dressed like greasers
Scrode and
is they stop him, and they're like, "What are you, some kind of necrophiliac?"
Void and Scroot are the two of
Two
the
that die.
Yeah, the two that die.
Because there's two other ones that get away.
Yeah.
But so they're beating the shit out of him, and the leader starts pissing on Vera's grave. But
That's rude.
He's like, "That's my mother." He sounds like Rocco.
Also,
Lionel reminds me of Rocco.
Those guys think that he's a necrophiliac.
Doesn't this seem like an R-rated?
Rocco the Wallaby?
Yeah, this is an R-rated
like Rocco's
episode
Modern
of
Life.
Rocco's Modern Life.
But no, they think that he's a necrophiliac, so they're like all up in his shit about that.
Like,
Which
nah,
I mean,
dude,
like
it's
to
my
be
mom.
honest, he kind of does look like either a grave robber or a necrophiliac by being in the cemetery and trying to get into a grave with an old woman. They don't know
Who
it's
was
his
just
mom.
buried.
Well, Lionel looks strung out through the whole movie because he kind of is. It's just not drugs.
It's just being like
Paquita's
British
post.
adjacent.
I've been exhausted before.
I mean,
I
he
look
looked,
like
but
that.
people in that
Can you
area
guys
just
tell
look
I'm
like.
exhausted? I did sleep
no,
like
Mike,
15
go.
hours though.
Mike, go.
So the lead the lead punk is pissing on Vera, but
That's a void.
A hand grabs his dick and pulls him down.
Mike,
and there's
faster.
this bloody humping, and he's like humping away.
Yeah,
and he flies
faster,
through the
faster.
air. And
Harder,
the other punks,
harder,
they
Mike.
see his rib cage is exposed, and the priest comes out, and two of the gang. Well,
Two
at
of them?
some point,
Tell me more. Just do it, Mike. Do it
so
now.
two of the gang get killed.
Oh.
Come back, and the
Do
preacher
they?
comes out when all three of them are coming for Lionel, and he says, "I kick ass for the Lord."
Say it
You
again.
need some
Do it
divine
again.
intervention.
Do it again, Mike.
Is he a preacher or a priest?
Mike, wait, don't stop, but do it again. I kick ass for the Lord.
He's Father John Magruder, so I don't know. Is that
Looks like you need some divine intervention. And he ends up ripping,
Say his name.
He ends up, dude, shut the fuck up and let me goddamn do this.
Right, hey, dude,
I'm
let's
gonna go smoke a cigarette.
No, you're not. You're gonna get through this. Come on, let's go.
Here, try to read my goddamn chicken script.
No.
There's no way.
Well, I know the movie.
Really?
Really?
Noise. Come on.
Noise.
I'm gonna talk when you guys stop talking.
Oh, are you going to do the thing I did today with some high schoolers where I was like, I'll wait for you to finish your
Can't
conversation?
believe
You're talking to
I
high
can't believe they
schoolers?
let you work at a school.
Oh shit! Yeah, she does work at a school.
They wouldn't let me work at a school. What you looking at me like?
Obviously.
I'm a good fucking substitute. A, B, I'm a licensed in
Dude.
school counseling. Fuck off.
You're the mostest. So the
The
preacher
hostess
starts
with the
kicking ass
mostest.
for the Lord, and he rips off both of the blonde guy's arms, and then he sweeps off his legs, and then he kicks off his head. But as it's falling back to the earth, it lands on his neck and bites him. And he ends up, the priest gets impaled on a tombstone with a hand coming out. Looks really cool.
Wait. So, like, is that where where is it where the punk zombie punches through the fucking mouth?
That's later, I think.
Yeah, that's during the party.
That's during the party,
Sorry,
yeah.
I didn't mean to jump ahead.
Okay, so at this point, the one that didn't get drawn and quartered. So we've got one punk greaser,
Fucking
mom,
hurry,
the nurse, and the priest. Lionel's making them all breakfast with tranquilizers. And it's this cool thing where the nurse's food comes out of her neck, so he has to like put her head back and put the food directly down her neck. And while he's doing that, the greaser accidentally sticks the spoon through his head, and he's like, "Oh!" And this is when the nurse and the priest are getting horny. They're kind of flirting, and Uncle Lester shows up. So he has to take a piss. He really wants to get some. He says that the mom was going to give him money, but died unexpectedly, so didn't get to change the wheel.
Okay, so what happens, though, is that he sees what's happening in the basement.
No. He hears zombie sex, and he's like, "Is that one of your dad's stag films? Is that the one with the donkey and the chambermaid?" But he leaves. And when Lionel comes back in there, he sees the two zombies fucking, and he's trying to break up this kiss.
It's the preacher and the nurse.
The preacher and the nurse, yeah. He's trying to break up their kiss, and I guess the nurse ends up biting the priest's lips, and they end up like coming off the preacher's face. And she's immediately pregnant. When he gets them down to the basement, she's like writhing on the floor. And
Yeah, it's faster
Lionel's
when
like
you're
going
dead.
to get more tranquilizers when Paquita sees him, and he tries to hide behind this car, but this car fucking takes off. And he tells her like, "Hey, I'm out of here. I can't fuck. This was a mistake." She starts crying, and the butcher shows up and thinks that he's bugging Paquita, so the butcher punches Lionel in the fucking face and threatens him. And Lionel finally gets back to the basement, and we find out there's a zombie baby in the radio eating a rat.
It's disgusting and doesn't look real, and I think it looks dumb.
I think it's hilarious. Do you like the baby, Nick?
Right? Yeah. Dude, I love everything about this movie.
So at one point, the baby's...
I didn't like it. I thought it was dumb.
Lionel falls down. The baby's like trying to attack Lionel, but its fucking umbilical cord still attached, and it gets stuck on a nail. Thank goodness. The movie would have been over then. But for some reason, and this is just the slapstick nature of this movie, he decides, you know what, there's
Take
a
it for a
baby.
walk.
I'm going to take this out in a stroller to the park where all these other kids are. So he like loses control of the stroller, has to chase it down this embankment. It topples over. The baby gets out and gets on the seesaw, which I guess Lionel like shoots it into the air, and when it falls, this bike trips over it, and there's this drunk guy just sitting there laughing at all the shit. And Lionel's just, when he gets to the baby, he just starts punching it, and one of the moms is like, "I think he likes it." And the drunk's just fucking losing his shit. He's like, "This is the best thing I've ever seen."
Yeah, it's slapstick as fuck. I love it, man.
It is fucking hilarious. And he ends up seeing Paquita walking with the butcher. He takes the baby back home and sees that the basement door is broken. But the zombies are all just tied up watching TV, so they're okay. And that's when from behind, Uncle Lester is like, "Oh, I'm going to have to call the cops about this multiple murder." And it's all just a ploy so he can blackmail Lewis out of his house and money. And Lewis is just like, "Yeah, okay. Sounds good." And he's about to leave the house when Les has all these fucking people, like 50 people show up for a party. And somehow, I guess Lionel is roped into serving hors d'oeuvres to these drunks. And one of the drunks opens the basement door, of course, and the greaser punk is right there to headbutt him. And we see Uncle Lester talking about how you're nothing like your dad. Your dad could pick up all the birds. He was a real ladies' man. And women are there trying to get into Lionel's pants. The greaser's kind of just dancing and shit. And Paquita is still with the butcher, but she kind of hears that there's a party and disappears while the butcher is talking about his rugby match. And we see Lionel with the greaser punk feeding him like a whole bottle of Jack Daniels because he doesn't have the tranquilizer syringe right there. He just wants this punk zombie to chill. So sorry, I did it again. Paquita shows up at the party and she's like, what the fuck's going on? And Uncle Lester, who has a crush on her, he grabs her, but she knees him in the balls and his hairpiece falls off.
Oh, yeah. Well, that dude's a piece of shit. Like he's the antagonist besides besides the mother or whatever.
Later on, when he's just like chops up all the zombies and there's just a pile of them, he's kind of a badass when it comes to killing zombies.
Yeah. Well, that when he's doing the double duty, like that.
He looks like
shot
Iron Chef.
Yeah. No shit. Yeah.
Battle zombie is over. Okay. So Paquita wanders into the basement, and to save Paquita from the greaser punk, Lionel puts a rake in his head, and he's trying to explain to Paquita that shit's fucked up, and he can't kill his mother. Meanwhile, the uncle's got like this big bottle of booze on his balls, and Paquita's like, you got to kill them, and he gets this poison. And he injects his mother's septum again. And I guess they do it to all of them, bury them, and they're going to go through the front door, leave the party. But Lester will not let them leave. And Lester ends up kicking Lionel's ass and throwing him into the basement. Where he lands, he sees that poison was actually, it says on the side, animal stimulant. So not only are they
all hyped
are they
up.
not dead,
they're all hopped up.
They're all fucking getting crazy on some animal stimulant, which I don't know why you would give a dog some stimulant, maybe to bring him back to life if they're flatlined or something. I
did it at a vet tech and they had shit like that.
They have ketamine there.
Yeah, that's like horse tranquilizer, right?
The cat and horse, it depends on
I think it's the milligrams. I mean, I think you can give it to all animals. You can give it to people too, but
shit.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big fucking billboard when you're coming from 75 to 40 East that says ketamine IV treatment. So apparently, if you've got enough cheddar, they'll fucking put that shit straight in your veins for therapy.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lester is still groping Paquita, and they're kind of fighting when all the zombies bust out of the goddamn basement, and the door falls on this dude, and the greaser punk ends up ripping his whole fucking rib cage out, which is fucking gnarly, dude.
That
and I wrote down
so great.
Bedlam, and from this point on, like, there's so much crazy bullshit going on.
Yeah, but it's like.
I have a couple things there. There is some stuff.
I mean, there's stuff to like. The thing about this movie is there's a whole lot going on, like the whole time.
It's like
but there's not a lot.
But there's not a lot
to say about it because
I'm just gonna rush through some highlights.
But you know what I mean. It's just like
for sure.
It's interesting.
What entails is one of the most legendary. Even though it was in the '90s, is one of the most legendary. Like,
I'd say the next 40 minutes are pure chaos, and then like the last 5 minutes is the denouement.
Dude, it's the lawnmower alone. Like, it's just like, what the fuck?
These guys, the living people killing zombies, goes on for the next 40 minutes.
Yeah.
One guy gets all the skin ripped off his face like it's like an orange peel. Another lady gets her heart pulled out through her abdomen. I think the greaser does both those. The greaser's a bad motherfucker. Like, you think the priest is going to be the gnarliest zombie because he really kicked ass in life, but he was too busy. At one point, him and the nurse during this are impaled, and they're just going at it impaled
they're still trying
the whole
to
time.
Yeah.
The baby's a badass too. So Les gets his fat ass out of a window somehow, and everybody in the party turns into zombies pretty quick. And then Lionel tells Paquita to run, but that's impossible. Les is in the backyard now, surrounded by people. Some guy gets pulled in half through the dog door. A lady's head gets punched through the back, so the greaser punk's hand is coming through her head. Yeah, that's the effect I'm talking about. And then he's like still grabbing at another woman behind her. There's some really fucking cool effects. It's a good effect. So
the way it's shot is really good.
This is when Lionel is trying to run away, but the floor is so bloody, he's just running in place in the blood for like 30 seconds. It's awesome.
No, it's like fucking Buster Keaton or Harold Lloyd or something like that. Like
Paquita and this lady Rita are in the kitchen. They see each other in the cupboard, and Paquita almost kills her, but she's alive. And she gets really attached to this Rita lady. So Les is in the shack with the priest, and he has some pliers, and he starts pulling out the priest's fucking teeth with the pliers. Again, insane. There's a lady in the kitchen who was a good friend of Rita. She is the one who got her head punched through, and they end up pushing her onto a light socket. So her head is just being like electrified / lit up by this light socket. We see Les with a pair of garden shears like turns some guy's head into a hockey puck. Basically, he like stabs him in the mouth and then cuts through, so that it's just the top teeth half from the teeth up. Does that make sense? The top teeth up, because later that dude's head is going to be kicked across the room, like, just like a hockey puck.
Day of the Dead, Dr. Teeth, the dude who slams his head over or whatever.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Who?
Not Dr. Teeth from the Electric Mayhem, the Muppets.
I thought you said Day of the Dead.
Yeah, Day of the Dead. The
Bub?
dude
that guy. The guy at the very beginning with just the tongue.
Yeah.
Split top head.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. That's when the title card comes up. Mm-hmm. He walks in, he walks up and it goes up and his tongue comes out.
He slams his head over later and shit.
Yeah, later on. No, I don't know if he does that.
Is that early?
No, he's not. He's just in the very beginning. He just walks up and it there's like a newspaper on the ground that says the dead still walk or something, and it pans up and then the title card comes in and it's his face and his tongue sticks out.
Okay, Mike. Anyway, start narrating Day of the Dead.
And from that point on, from the beginning, we're gonna do Day of the Dead.
I don't have notes for that. So
it's important. Can just do it.
It's important that the greaser guy, greaser punk zombie, gets cut in half, and because
you're dead.
His organs fall out, and they're gonna be attacking Lionel throughout the rest of the movie. The intestines with attached bladder and shit.
Yeah.
It's like some kind of weird nightmare dog.
It's like the shunting.
So he tries to flush the top half of the greaser after in the toilet, but that fucking overflows.
That scene is so awesome, insane, when he's screaming in the toilet.
But so the intestines are wrapping around him, attacking him, but then the butthole farts.
Yeah.
And the organs are in the mirror, ooh, we're kind of cute. And we see he escapes from the intestines. He gets to this room where there is the amulet, and it points to the chest, and it turns out to be his dad's death chest or whatever. And when he opens it, there's a fucking skeleton in there. But back to the kitchen, the baby is fucking with the girls. They try to get it in the blender, but somehow it ends up flying through the air into Les's balls. And Les gives some guy a gnome head, he has no head, so he sticks the gnome in it, and he's walking around looking like a garden gnome. Pretty funny. But Paquita actually ends up, Les is trying to get in the kitchen, and Paquita's initial inclination is fuck that dude. But Rita talks her into letting Lester into the kitchen. And we can tell that Rita is going to be turning into a zombie at some point. Lester knows that, but Paquita will not let Lester kill Rita at this point. The intestines start fucking with Lionel while he's looking in the chest at the pictures of his dad. And the intestines start going up his pant leg. And somehow it ends up with him dangling over the entrance room. What do you call that?
Oh, the foyer.
In Clue? Is that the door room?
The foyer. Or the foyer.
Yeah, they got a really nice house. I bet that thing goes for a mint these days. So he's hanging out over, dangling by his foot over these zombies. And this is when Les chops up all the people, and he'd probably make a good sushi chef. And Paquita tries to save Lionel, but that's proving difficult. Meanwhile, the priest and nurse are still fucking while impaled on the floor. And the baby uses someone else's leg to kick Uncle Lester in the balls. Thank goodness. And somehow Lionel starts walking with his hands up the rail, even though he's still dangling from the ceiling by intestines. And he sees Paquita get bit, but it turns out it was just dentures, so you wouldn't get turned into a zombie. That's really cool. So he gets rocketed out. I'm almost there, I promise. He gets rocketed out of a stained glass window again, and we hear Supermom rumbling in the basement. She kills Les, and I guess pulls his head up to where his spine comes out of she really fucks up her little brother. And we see
who cares? It's gross.
Lionel finally has the lawnmower. Meanwhile,
this is one of the best scenes.
Paquita is in the next room.
It's famous.
Paquita's in the next room using a blender in a similar way.
This movie uses the most blood of any movie ever, or fake blood, and it's like specifically this scene.
It kind of goes back and forth.
It's like 300 liters or something. Like
that. Oh, no, I think it's way more than that.
Yeah, I think I have. Anyway, go on.
It goes back and forth from blender that Paquita's using to kill zombies and the lawnmower that Lionel's using to clear up the foyer.
When he's just standing on the top of the corpses and it's just a pool of
it's insane. It's gross.
Like, and it's like, that's fucking crazy. That's such a good shot.
Zombie Les with the long spine neck is coming after Paquita, but she like yanks his head up, starts swinging around, just slams it onto the counter, and that kills Uncle Lester. And finally, Lionel has cleared the room, except the greaser, the punk, shows up.
Which one, Void or Scroot? I think it's Void. The
Void,
lead one.
One of them doesn't leave the graveyard.
The lead one is Void.
Void, then.
So, okay.
The one who did the punch through the face
Void.
was
Void, yeah.
He was the one who got flushed down the toilet.
So Void is still there, but the mower won't start. And he ends up using somebody else's hand to get it going, but the intestines still get him. And Rita finally turns into a fucking zombie and attacks Paquita.
Finally.
Yeah. There's a lot of 40 minutes of just like...
it's just like a gore... It's a gore party, I mean...
the baby comes out of her face.
I fucking hate that baby.
Dude, the baby is like inside of her fucking head. He's coming out of her face. But the lady who was on the light socket, she finally caught on fire. So Rita uses the gas line to cause the whole house to catch on fire. And Lionel uses the amulet somehow to finally kill those organs. And Paquita and Lionel embrace. But then Supermom Zombie shows up. And she's talking like this now, mate. And Lionel and Paquita scurry up the stairs, up the chimney,
kind of like the end
of
Evil Dead 2, whenever the mother, the Nobi mother from the basement comes up. Anything. But it's like, huge and like elongated neck and shit. Yeah. Like, it's really cool.
She's must have eaten a lot of something. Maybe she ate all the corpses, all the juice left from the lawnmower, the clippings, if you will. So she pops out of the roof and she's up there fucking with him. And Lionel's like, I'm not afraid of you anymore. And he's like, I know the truth about Dad.
It's just like Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't believe in you. That's all it took. All your friends are dead, but just don't believe in it.
There's a little flashback of Mama Vera drowning.
Just like heroin. Don't believe in it.
So Lionel thought that the dad had drowned trying to save him in the ocean. But no, the mom had drowned the dad and his lover in the bathtub while Lionel was fucking watching.
And now he can see her for the monster she is.
I see dead people. And he stands up for Rita.
And then Bruce Willis shows up, and he was dead the whole time.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker!
And he goes, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker! And then they're like, "You're dead." Donnie Wahlberg's there. Mark Wahlberg. All the Wahlbergs are there. They open up that burger joint, and that's the end of the
Lionel's
movie.
like, "Don't you touch Paquita, Mom." And
she's like, I don't want to touch her.
He gets sucked into his mama's gut
already.
And Rita's like dangling from this pole, and the mom's like using her big fucking claw to try to get Rita's fingers, but all of a sudden her face starts falling. Paquita. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She's trying to finish Paquita.
Hey, Mike, let's go.
I've got 2 more lines.
Yeah, do it.
Do you know how much this was to rate?
Do you know how much it was for you to just...
I know how much 2 lines is.
Okay, so the mom's face starts falling off, and it turns out that Lionel has the amulet, and it pops out of the stomach, and then all this goo starts coming out. Placenta. And
I don't think you... I think you have a tenuous grasp on what placenta is.
I don't think Lionel's mom was pregnant.
In the goo, Lionel is there.
Right.
Lionel's in this zombie placenta.
Oh, wait. Yeah, but she swallows him there, right?
Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, she's already swallowed him. He's got the amulet. He pops it out of the belly.
Okay,
The goo comes out of the belly.
Now she's pregnant.
Lionel comes out of the goo.
Again.
The mom falls into the burning house.
Let's go, Mike.
The mom falls into the burning house. Lionel and Paquita use the amulet to zip line to safety. Ooh. And the firemen show up, and for some reason, Lionel throws the fucking amulet. Paquita tries to stop him. He's like, no, I'm just throwing this fucking amulet.
Amulet?
Amulet. And they kiss, and the credits roll. And I expected like the baby to pop out and be like, here's this amulet. I'm not going, bitches. Man. I'm going to grow up. But no, they just walk off. And there's some cheesy song.
That's how love happens,
Credits roll.
I'm sorry you've never experienced it.
I'm out of breath.
Kill count.
Kill count.
You killed their
I
mother.
only did the times for the first 2 deaths, and then after that I stopped because it's just like, Okay, 1 is Stuart McAlden. He's the, whatever you call it.
It's McAlden.
The guy that went to get the rat, or whatever.
Scientist.
He's dismembered and killed by his crew after being bitten at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And then the next death is 28 minutes later, and it's Nurse McTavish, and her neck is snapped and her head is ripped off. Then I stopped keeping count because just so many. Then we have Thomas Void Randall. His genitals are ripped off, and his chest is skimmed, and he becomes a zombie, much like Nurse McTavish. Then Peter Scroot Otis bleeds to death through a neck wound, becomes a zombie. Then we have Father John Magruder. He's number 5. He impales himself on an angel tombstone, becomes a zombie. 6 is Roger. His ribcage is ripped out by zombie Void, and he's revived as a zombie. 7 is an unnamed male party guest. Head skin ripped off by zombie Void, revived as a faceless zombie. 8 is unnamed female party guest turned into a zombie when zombie Nurse McTavish bites her. 9 is unnamed female party guest heart pulled out by zombie Void, revived as a zombie. Then 10 through 64, 54 unnamed party guests eaten alive by zombies. And then... Oh, I guess I messed up. 65 is male zombie bludgeoned by Lionel with an iron. 66 is Bernard. His legs are mutilated off camera by zombies, revived as a zombie.
Oh, yeah, they've got his little stick legs.
67 is Mandy. She's punched through the back of the head by zombie Void. She's revived as a zombie. 68 is another unnamed male party guest eaten by zombies, revived as a zombie. 69 is Barry. He's turned to a zombie when a zombie bites him. 70 is zombie Mandy. Her head's burned when Paquita shoves her into a light bulb. 71 through 77 are 6 zombies that are dismembered by Uncle Les with meat cleavers.
Less-o-matic.
78 is zombie Barry. He's ground up by Uncle Les with a hand wringer. 79 is a male zombie's head exploded. It just said head exploded for no apparent reason. 70 is another male zombie exploded for no apparent reason after Lionel threw him off the balcony. 81 is Uncle Lester Calcon. His skull and spine are ripped out by zombie Vera.
81.
Revived as a zombie.
Super zombie.
82 through 125. That's 43 zombies are shredded by Lionel with a lawnmower.
1 death for human death and 1 death for zombie death.
Whatever. 126 is zombie Barry, shredded inside a blender. 127 is zombie Nurse McTavish, shredded by Lionel with a lawnmower. 128 is zombie Father Magruder, shredded by Lionel with a lawnmower. 129 is
the baby zombies of North.
Faceless zombie, shredded by Lionel with a lawnmower. 130 is zombie Uncle Les, skull crushed against a counter by Paquita. 131 zombie Void, shredded by Lionel with a lawnmower. 132 Rita Burdell, face ripped open from inside out by Baby Selwyn.
Fuck you, RoboCop.
Revived as a zombie. 133, baby Selwyn is burned to death by Paquita with a gas pump.
His name's Selwyn?
Yeah.
That's a beautiful
130.
name.
No, it's not. 134 is zombie
you.
Rita, burned to death by Paquita with a gas pump. 135 is Void's sentient intestines are shredded
yeah.
by Lionel with a lawnmower.
They're handsome.
136 is zombie Roger, burned to death inside the house off camera. 137 is zombie Bernard, burned to death inside the house off camera. And then 138 is zombie Vera, disemboweled from the inside out by Lionel with an amulet and then cremated inside the burning house. Trivia. On its initial
Wait, what was
release,
the final count?
138.
138.
Yeah.
We are 138.
Oh my God!
Oh, shit.
We don't want to talk. Let's not get into that. We're not going to get into that. No, remember when you and Mike got into the biggest fucking argument ever? Him and Mike got into an argument because he said it was
the only hybrid moment
lyrics.
Mike's ever had is going to fucking Whole Foods in a Prius.
No, he got into an
Are you
argument
talking
with
about
Mike,
me?
I'm fucking
with
with you,
other
man.
Mike.
Yeah, I don't have a Prius.
And because
I know
he
you
said that
don't.
138 had the best guitar solo of all time, which it is. and they fought for the whole night. It's 2 seconds, Mike.
I think it was around whenever
That's not a guitar
I think
No,
it
you
was
weren't
at
When you
there.
get drafted by
Weren't
the
there.
Dead Kennedys is the best.
Anyway,
I think Mike
that's not
said
what
that.
you said. Whatever,
Dude,
Okay,
who gives
trivia.
a shit? That's a matter of opinion.
I think that the lyrics.
I don't think it's long enough to be a guitar solo.
I think
is
that
what
the
I'm saying.
lyrics of We Are
Anything can be
138
a
are
guitar
very
solo.
No,
prophetic.
it can't.
If you play alone, it's
Okay,
a guitar
trivia.
solo.
This is trivia.
about cat
Y'all, this is
androids.
trivia. On its initial release in New Zealand, this movie earned more per screen than Batman Returns.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Apparently, this is kind of crazy because Britain is UK. The video nasties, all that
I mean,
shit.
this got this dude the
listen,
biggest jobs in
The
Hollywood.
BBFC loved the film and found the gore so comical and inoffensive that they seriously considered granting it a 15 certificate. In the end, they determined that the sheer quantity of gore would confound expectations at 15 and therefore rated it at 18.
It's,
Is this
yeah,
the video
it's-
nasty people?
I think so.
It's
BBFC,
British.
BBFC, isn't it?
Dude, I think so. They're the ones that said like,
That's why I said it was crazy. Okay, so the movie is said to
don't go
be.
into the woods. No.
That's
too
a
much.
weird thing. Like if you do
This.
too much, they're like, okay, now this is a cartoon.
It's
But if you
hilarious.
do,
The movie is said
like,
to be the bloodiest of all time, measured in amount of
To this
film
day.
blood used
just leaders. Yeah.
used during the production. 300 liters of fake blood was used in the final scene of the film.
I only know gallons. How many gallons is that?
So apparently, if you rented this movie in Sweden,
Wait,
and
you
prob-
buy 2 liters, Mike. Like,
It's less than a gallon?
You use that system too,
okay.
Emily.
Ridiculous.
Emily, let's go.
Okay.
Come on.
Hey, come on, Em.
Yeah, come on out.
The
Speed it up.
rental in Sweden and probably other countries as well, but for sure in Sweden, came with a supplemental vomit bag if you rented it at the rental store.
Come on, Emily.
During the lawnmower scene, movie blood was pumped at 5 gallons per second. The movie was finished under budget with, in New Zealand money, $45,000 remaining. And Peter Jackson used it to spend 2 days shooting the park scene with Lionel and the baby Selwyn. And he's gone on to say that it's his favorite scene.
It's awesome.
It's pretty good.
He is.
It's pretty
he
fucking
does make a
hilarious.
cameo as the Undertaker's assistant in the movie.
Oh, okay.
As of 2015,
I thought
thought
he was
that-
the dude that was running with the cage with the monkey.
I thought they looked the same. I thought those was the same actor.
he's the Undertaker's assistant.
Okay.
As of 2015,
I know he. Oh shit! Yeah, he
He might
is,
be the
like,
scientist.
as of 2015, this film has not been released on DVD in New Zealand. So
yeah. What?
we got
yeah.
it at McKay's.
the song played on the organ as the mourners wait to enter the church prior to the embalming scene is none other than Sodomy from Sir Peter Jackson's previous film Meet the Feebles.
Really?
It was
The
shot
song,
yeah.
which I thought was cool.
It was shot in 11
I
weeks.
love organ. Pipe organ is so legit.
It was shot in 11 weeks, and the film was originally supposed to be shot with a $4.5 million budget instead of the $3 million budget that it actually had. So, gross opening weekend, it only made $23,765.
gross.
And then the worldwide total with a $3 million budget, worldwide, its gross total was $242,623.
242,000,
Yeah,
That's
it,
pretty
it,
low.
it,
It
lo-
didn't
it
bomb?
lost millions of dollars.
Whoa.
but it got him millions in the future.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know
Those
if that.
Lord of the Ring
yeah.
movies, man, made bank.
So I don't really think we need to talk about Peter Jackson or.
No,
I mean,
I'm not getting into that shit.
Obvious.
and I looked at the guy that played Lionel because he looked familiar to me, but I didn't recognize anything.
Did you
really.
smash or pass?
Pass. He looks like a
Paquita. Smash.
I don't-
Rita.
They're both.
Smash.
Listen, they are fucking made for each other. They are both mediocre as hell.
6s make 12.
So what do you rate it, Nick?
Zombie baby.
Okay, so
Just rate it.
If I could rate this a 10 out of 10, I would, but I'm rating it a 5. Like, it's up there. Dude, no, it's up there with the
Emily
Toxic
just looked at
Avenger
me
to
like,
me.
Jesus Christ.
No,
but
no,
of all the things you said, 5 stars.
I know. You're
This
just,
movie-
I did that face because you're gonna be mad about mine.
Of
This
all the
movie-
things
this
he said
movie
5
has
stars
been
about,
with
this
me.
one makes the most sense.
I know. I agree with that.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be happy with what I say.
Minus
Dude,
5 stars.
This movie has been with me
No,
my
I
whole
just,
life.
I'm just
Let's
saying
let
y'all are
this
gonna be
go.
pissed off about what I say. So I think I'm gonna go last. Why don't you
care
go
about
next?
what I say.
Oh, now you know how it feels. Why don't you hurry up? Come on.
No, I'm done.
What do you rate it?
See, you see how
I'm
that
gonna go
works,
4.
asshole?
You're giving it 4.
I have 4. And maybe that's not even doing it justice. I think it's fucking hilarious. It's one of the funniest movies. It's definitely the funniest movie we've watched since I've been on the show.
I give it a
But
strong.
Nail Gun Massacre was before my time.
I give it a strong 1.75.
Cunt.
Lose 2.
I
You
can't
really
believe
don't
you.
like this?
No, I think it's stupid. I don't like this kind of humor.
The baby?
I hated
you think
that.
The baby
I think
scene
it's
was
I think
funny?
it's all dumb.
Okay, so
This
like
woman hates
one of the
joy.
things.
I mean, now
like,
it makes sense that I don't like Evil Dead 2.
You don't like
I don't
anything
know
fun.
if this is derived
Yes, I
from
do,
it,
but
but
it's
like
not.
You said
that whole,
Annalise
like,
Michelle's
whenever
I know.
tape was
what I was saying with
underwhelming.
I know, but
I'm like, you evil
I did that to be a
bitch.
bitch.
You send me
But
some
no,
evil shit,
what
I'm never going to listen to you. I didn't even open it.
what I was saying about the Buster Keaton like comedy with Lionel or whatever, like you don't even like see that or like care about that. Like I mean, I thought maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was just
I mean,
like
there's some
something
dumb humor that I like
But
from
no,
the past.
like him catching
I
the
like
bus
lull-
or whatever.
you didn't lull
I like
at
the
all?
Three Stooges. I like that kind of like
Or the
I
Trolley
like
or
dumb
whatever, like-
comedy sometimes.
What about like the gore effects though? Like when the guy gets his face ripped off.
The gore effects are fine, but
They're
they're
extraordinary.
stupid.
They're
What about the
really
monkey
good.
itself? The monkey's hilarious.
It's stop motion, like claymation, right? Like
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought it was. I know
Harryhausen-esque.
I'm impressed by it.
Yeah.
I mean, I this is just my
This
opinion
is
on
a-
the movie. This is not when I give an opinion.
I bet that 3 million was made up in video.
It probably was, but when I rate movies like this, I'm giving just my opinion on how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah, for
now,
sure.
now can I look at it and say that this was an incredible feat? And
Absolutely not, because I am below that.
He's talking as you.
No,
He's
but,
talking as you. I was like, Nick doesn't think that.
But I
fucking
give him
mad.
credit. Like,
It's
yeah,
amazing feat.
I think that
It's better than the Lord of the Rings movies.
well, for sure. But I mean, that's
yeah,
a low
yeah.
fucking bar. That's like.
I bet we just
That's a low
alienated
fucking. I agree.
3/4 of our
I
audience.
fucking agree with you 100%.
They don't like Lord of the Rings.
That's some phoned
I mean,
in
but
bullshit.
it's the same thing with a lot of John Carpenter's. Like, I admire his work, and I know he's a good director, but like,
Prince of
it's
Darkness,
just
Big
not
Trouble
my
in
thing.
Little China, and They Live
It's the same thing with
are
Sam
the
Raimi
greatest.
too. Though, like, after I watched Evil Dead 1, because
You
I
are the Drag Me to Hell girl.
I still love.
Go to hell, bitch.
I still love Evil Dead 1, but I tried to I rewatched
Do you guys
Evil
like
Dead 2.
Drag Me to Hell?
It's just, no.
I saw it in theaters. That's the
I did
last time I
too.
saw it.
But
it was.
I think it was the only
fine.
time I saw it,
enjoyed
The old lady's awesome.
but
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, the
I
snotty
can
old lady.
like admire their work, but it's just not my thing. It's this kind of humor with horror is just whatever.
Dude.
And I was not looking forward to watching
Hollywood
it.
disagrees.
All right. Well,
I don't think Hollywood disagreed.
Hollywood disagrees with you.
Not on
They gave
this.
Sam Raimi a mount
not
for
on this
fucking
movie,
Spider-Man. If they didn't like this movie, Peter Jackson wouldn't have gone to Hollywood.
guys, do you think Kay wants to hear this? Kay, what do you want to hear? Anyway,
Every kiss
Christy?
begins with
Christy?
K.
Who's Kay?
We're doing the episode
Wait.
for her.
Oh, Christy won. Kay, you called this.
Kay wanted this movie.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I loved it.
all right. Well,
So, but I mean, yeah, no, I wanted to watch it again.
Okay.
It was, I mean, I didn't hate it. But I'm really hard on shit anyway.
She's got a hard on. Shit.
I mean, I'm not free. I'm not generous with my
She
star
doesn't like
rating.
fun.
Like, if I give something 3, like that means I liked it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a chore to sit through.
This was
I think it's
difficult
just
to take
whatever.
notes on, but it's fucking awesome.
So, stay gagged on intestines.
Stay gagged on custard with ears.
stay gagged on Paquita.
Ooh,
Ugh.
la, la.
Stay gagged on Lionel.
Stay gagged on amulets.
Stay gagged on
Slime Glapolo.
On that, whatever
Stay
that
egged
thing
on a
Uncle
damn
Les
good
had.
custard.
Oh, what is? I want to.
Whatever
I want to
kind of
try
pipe
one.
it was. And stay gagged on all of our social media, Instagram, TikTok, Gag with a Knife Podcast, Twitter, Gag Knife Pod. Become a Patreon for member shout-outs, early access to episodes, bonus episodes, fan-requested episodes, and we're eventually going to do another prize drawing. Maybe if we get to 20.
25.
20, 25. Well, I'll
I
decide
think
later.
25 is more of a.
It's also never going to happen. But
Oh, come on, guys.
Like-
Get your
Stay
friends.
gagged for
Get your
Satan.
friends.
well,
hooked
when
on
Chrissy shows off
gag.
what is in her gag bag, people might want to sign up.
For
So,
real. It's dope.
and
Swag.
so go to Patreon, www.patreon.com/gagmewithaknifepodcast, and buy our merch at gagmewithaknifepodcast.com, and we will see you in March. Return on Rock and Roll Slashers.
Yeah.
Stick 'em.
They're not as good as you would think.
Rock and roll high school.
Thank you.